Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Mirror Dungeon solo video. In today's episode, we'll be using the strongest beef noodles enjoyer, Liu Ishmael. Liu Ishmael was the first ever identity I decided to do a solo run with, as back then she was the only good burn identity in the game, and I love burn. Of course, now we have a lot more interesting burn identities in the form of Magic Bullet Otis and Philip Sinclair, but Liu Ishmael will always be a good choice. She doesn't have a lot going on in her kit, and can be considered a very simple identity, but she is still very good nonetheless. She is pretty good at building a burn stack, and all of her skills gain extra power the more burn there is on her target. She does have one interesting aspect about her though, and that is if she staggers or kills an enemy with the final coin on her skill 3, she will gain a plus coin power boost. This is debatably the strongest status effect in the entire game, so getting it gives her a very significant power spike, especially if you can follow it up with another skill 3 afterwards. Of course, with such a specific conditional, actually gaining it is inconsistent at best, and completely impossible during most boss encounters. She is also one of the few identities who I would say have a secret skill 4 in the form of her ego, Ardor Blossom Star. Not only does she feel it perfectly, but it also synergizes incredibly well, giving more burn infliction and great versatility with its unique targeting. We start off the run with both Helterfly's Dream and Fiery Down for our starting gifts, and head into Faith and Erosion for the first floor. N-Corp can prove to be a little challenging, especially for the first floor, but being resistant to blunt damage and dealing blunt damage ourselves, they're not the worst thing in the world, letting us make it to the boss against the Crawling Inquisitors. We start off this fight by using Ardor Blossom Star in order to turn off our Lust weakness and begin punching our way through the beasts like there's no tomorrow. They don't pose much of a threat, and with how high our damage is, we can make short work of them. We take Tomorrow's Fortune for our reward and receive Blood Red Mane as a bonus before we head into Hell's Chicken for the next floor. Here we buy Blue Zippo Lighter, Carmilla, Lithograph, and Illusory Hunt, while also finding the Hot and Juicy Drumstick and Eclipse of Scarlet Moths. After such a lucrative floor, we eventually make it to Papa Bongi with absolutely no problems to speak of. Just like with the previous boss, we start off by using Ardor Blossom Moth to turn off our Lust weakness, while also giving us a new Wrath resistance in the process. Being able to basically ignore every attack that comes at us, we can solely focus on dealing damage as much as possible, something that Liu Ishmael excels at.
적합한 관리법이었어요. 다행이에요. 어떤 시간과 공간에 계시는 관리자님 순식간에 끝내는지는 미처 몰랐네요. 보냈고.
제법 좋은 일들. 저런 실력 있는 해결사가 도시에 많아져야 할 텐데 말이야. 저도 더 노력해.
순식간에 끝내죠. 제가 물었네요.
저분들이 저게 일부러 하고 있어요.
전략이 그럴싸한데?
We take Ashes to Ashes as our reward and head into a floor I almost never choose, Dregs of the Manor. Here we fuse Charred Disc and decide to take a bit of a detour to fight the Brazen Bull before the boss of this floor. All of the event abnormalities are inherently easier than their Mirror Dungeon boss counterparts. This is because they have significantly less HP, though apart from that they're basically identical. Dealing with the bull is incredibly simple, as all we need is to use Ardor Blossom Star again to change our resistances, and our damage combined with his little HP is more than enough to finish him off relatively quickly.
순식간에 끝내죠.
다음에 다른 개츠에게도 다시 해봐줄래? 영상으로 남기면 다른 직원에게도 도움이 될지도 몰라.
순식간에 끝내죠.
We receive the Rusty Commemorative Coin and Pain of Stifled Rage for completing this fight before making it to the main reason I try to avoid this floor as much as possible, the Dead Rabbit's boss. The only thing more terrifying than an enemy with tons of bleed is one with lots of coins and good rupture infliction. And that's exactly what this guy is. He also has a passive called Spiked Bat, which makes it so every time he hits you, he deals an extra 50% pierce damage on top of the regular damage and rupture damage he's already doing. This, coupled with the fact that pretty much all of his skills have 3 coins, means that if at any point you are staggered against this guy, he will, 100% of the time, kill you. Unless, of course, you're K-Corp Hong Lu, that is. This fight is purely just a DPS check. Do you have enough damage to stagger both him and his minions before he can stagger you? The answer is thankfully yes this time, but only just barely. Rusty Commemorative Coin is absolutely invaluable here as it gives us just enough damage to stagger the minions before they can get any more than a single attack off.
당신을 인도해주지 못해도 따뜻하게 안아줄 수는 있어.
무얼 잘못했는지 아는 것부터가 시작이랬어.
순식간에 끝내줘. 당신을 인도해주지 못해도 따뜻하게 안아줄 수는 있어. 효율적인 대처로 개체를 꿰뚫었습니다. 참고로 기계는 입에 박은 말 따위 쉽게 하지 않아요.
직원들이 개체를 제압하는 데 성공했어요. 이걸로 많은 피해를 예방할 수 있을 거예요.
보냈고.
We take resolution for our reward and head into Burning Haze for the next floor. Here we fuse Dust to Dust before being challenged to a rematch against the Brazen Bull. All around, he's not much more difficult than his previous encounter, only having a significantly larger health pool. We can easily clash with all of his skills and tank the rest thanks to Ardor Blossom Star, but with the increased health comes an interesting new problem. Being forced to tank multiple hits at the beginning of the fight means it's impossible to avoid a small burn stack. The damage from it doesn't actually matter that much, but combined with all of the other hits we were forced to eat, eventually we reach a point that no matter what we do, the burn stack will end up staggering us. Fortunately, by this point, the bull's head is revealed to us, and we can focus it down entirely to stagger the bull the same turn it staggers us. This does mean we miss out on a ton of free damage, but it's perfectly acceptable as we can take down the bull regardless.
순식간에 끝내줘.
칼날이 잘 드네요. 아마 그 공격이 약점이었겠죠? 방금 공격, 다음에 다른 개체에게도 다시 해봐줄래? 영상으로 남기면 다른 직원에게도 도움이 될지도 몰라.
자, 맞서보죠. 순식간에 끝내줘. 부위 파괴. 돛대를 부러뜨리는 것만큼 중요한 한 방이었어.
조심하셔야 해요. 정신이나 몸이 다친 동료들은 어떻게 바뀔지 모르니까요.
순식간에 끝내줘.
승객이 딱콩 한 번 먹었어.
순식간에 끝내줘. 보냈고.
We take Burning Intellect as our reward and head into the Evil Defining for the final floor. Here we buy the Harpoon prosthetic leg just because, Imposed Weight, an extra skill 2, and Bloody Gadget while also fusing Ardent Flower before heading into the final boss against the Pequod Trio.
맞서보죠.
This fight is tough.
순식간에 끝내죠.
Gas Harpoon would have been the preferable boss simply because Liu Ishmael is Pierce Fatal. Harder Blossom Star shows off just how good of an ego it is here, both with passive burn infliction capable of instantly knocking Ahab into her second phase on turn 1, and with the bonus stagger damage it can easily stagger both her and Starbuck relatively easily. The biggest thing you need to do in this fight is to just make sure either Starbuck or Ahab is staggered at all times. If you can somehow manage to accomplish that, then this fight's not that bad. Of course, it certainly helps when you have an ego that can Tremor Burst without Tremor, and you can use it twice every single turn.
종원, 조명이 전멸하는 저곳. 파도, 모든 것을 쳐부술 거다. 효과적이네요. 이 방식을 기억하는 게 좋겠어. 종원, 조명이 전멸하는 저곳. 파도, 모든 것을 쳐부술 거다.
방금 공격. 다음에 다른 개체에게도 다시 해봐줄래?
순식간에 끝내죠. 당신을 인도해주지 못해도 따뜻하게 안아줄 수 있어. 당신을 인도해주지 못해도 따뜻하게 안아줄 수 있어.
칼날이 잘 드네요. 아마 그 공격이 약점이었겠죠?
이럴 땐 망설임 없이
순식간에 끝내죠. 깔끔하게 해결했네요. 가는 길에 우육면 드실래요?
And that's how I soloed Mirror Dungeon 4 hard using only Liu Ishmael. She is certainly a powerhouse when it comes to raw damage, but she doesn't really do much else. Then again, what more could you really ask for in a burn identity? Bigger numbers are always better after all. Anyway, that's it from me. Like and subscribe to not miss next time where we'll be using this mysterious fellow. Goodbye.